Welcome to Double D-Fense. I'm Liz.
And I'm Christine.
We're bringing you an all-female perspective on the NHL,
plus the PWHL, college hockey, and everything in between. Thank you for joining us.
It's a double day train. We'll listen to Steve talking hockey like it's 1994. Gonna win, I mean red tears. They live in the decades-long drought. Podcast blazing loud hockey
Well, hi, Christine. Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Hey,
How are you guys doing?
Dry Wednesday night. It's been raining. Have you been getting all the rain, Matt, in Vegas?
Yeah, we got hail.
Oh,
wow. We
Yeah,
had a big puddle that we had to walk through in Santa Barbara over the weekend.
it was really hard for us.
It was really hard.
The F1 race is happening this weekend, and I think it'd be very funny if the F1 race got rain in Vegas. So
it's going to rain again. Yeah, the rain's coming back. So, this is us talking from Southern California and Las Vegas, where Matt is dealing with the rain and the weather. So, yes, feel sorry for us because it's cold.
It was below 70 degrees here today. Check on your Southern California friends.
I know. It's cold and the sun came out today, but we were losing it again tomorrow. So, hey, with that, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to keep it short because there's so much. So I know these conversations are going to continue on and on. The Rangers were in Vegas last night, where Matt is. We're going to talk about that loss, in a bit. But there's just a bunch of stories. Let's start with I want to talk about like all the injuries that are happening, but let's start with something kind of positive and fun. The Winter Classic jerseys got leaked yesterday. They kind of all flooded, everybody's, feeds today. What are we thinking about them? Both the Panthers and the Rangers.
I'm just going to say snooze fest. Very boring.
Oh. I think they're gorgeous. I love this trend of faux backs, where they're essentially fake throwbacks. I think the Panthers really nailed it. The Panthers really nailed it. They've got the classic striping. I love that felt. I love that felt crest of the simplified Panther, from times of old. But yeah, in terms of the Rangers, it feels kind of like the same striping and the same pattern from the Stadium Series last year, where as I would agree with you, if a little bit of a snooze fest, a little bit of a copy and paste.
There's an apple.
There's an apple. I thought that was
it's a Centennial jersey, just with some small changes. I don't know. This one to me missed the mark.
I have a little issue with an apple. Isn't that the Mets thing? I don't know.
Look, they also kind of, I think what it is what I think we're seeing is that they're kind of going more, with more symbolism for things. It is a centennial year. I think they put out a thing where, they have that stepped, that classic stepped Ranger logo, with the and the apple representing the symbol of New York and the 100 years. So it seems like, and of course there's the Winter Classic patch. I'm glad it's not like, I didn't like those palm tree crazy colors and stuff, from before. And I'm glad it's only on a patch, because I felt it could have gone one way or the other. Could have gone just really crazy or just a little minimalistic.
I do find it weird that those crazy colors are on the patch, and it creates contrasting colors that don't really work with the jerseys or any of the other branding.
I know they're keeping that as a logo there. Yeah, I don't get, but again, I think they kind of went for, more little symbols, to kind of represent where they're at now with this centennial year, and doing those. I like what you call those faux backs, for things. So could be worse. I mean, I'd rather be boring than crazy. Although I saw people's comments, they're like, they're playing in Florida, because the bigger deal is that they're playing in Florida, and outside, and they're like, they might as well have short sleeve jerseys, which,
and little shorts on.
and short, like little shorts. Like that would have been funnier. So, not a bad idea. Although that Leafs picture kind of it looked almost like a like a half jersey, like it was going to be a little shorter. So
is the color of the white more like cream or sand, like the old fashioned white, or is it white?
It's hard to tell in these pictures.
Yeah.
No, it's more of a white. Well, it's kind of. Well, I have a shirt. I think in the jerseys are a little bit more cream.
Okay.
But they are going with the the older blue color. So which is like this is a great color when they around the stadium when they're kind of blasting this blue. It's so nice.
That first Rangers jersey is my favorite Rangers jersey of all time, just because it's so disconnected from all of the current Rangers jerseys, while also being a template for what is now. So I don't know. I love the current Centennial jerseys. I love I really like the Winter Classic jerseys. I think the Rangers have had a recent streak of near perfect jerseys, and that's from a traditional franchise.
If only their record would match.
Hey,
I think that I don't think they've won a game in the Centennial jersey yet this season. So.
I guess I was going to ask about that. We're gonna, we can
if they go the entire season without winning a game, I will buy that jersey.
Wearing those, I was thinking about that. I'm like, I think we've lost every game with the Centennial jersey.
You're gonna have to bury it under a full moon or something.
In this, I will buy that jersey at full price.
if every game is lost in the season,
if every game in that jersey is lost, I will buy that jersey at full price. Okay,
it's all good.
Okay, so that's a nice positive start too to the episode. Now let's talk about all the people who have somehow hurt themselves eating dinner in the last couple of weeks in the NHL.
So this last week, Jack Hughes kind of. Well, where were we? I think we were drinking wine when we got the story that first it was like a spork, then it was a glass, then he tripped on a glass. I mean, there was a lot of stories, which is crazy. And then he ended up getting surgery on his pinky. Bottom line is he's out, he's injured, he had dinner, something happened. And now you got, the guy with the barbecue, now he's out. So you Panthers are down another man, and injuries. So definitely want to talk about injuries around the league. If you're listening and you're kind of following us on Instagram, we posted a story with, a lot of these teams have a lot of injuries. Penguins are leading it with like 9 guys out, and then the Devils have 7 and so forth. We were talking about this before, Matthew, on our other, in a previous podcast where, we feel we haven't been playing very well, but then all of a sudden you look at our standings where we're like 23, and then what's below us, the Panthers, and like other teams, the Edmonton Oilers, like these teams are below us and they're not doing well. So, give me a take on your, like what you're seeing, like, where people are at and how these injuries are affecting, these teams. I think it seems absurdly crazy. I think there's just an outstanding amount of injuries right now that I haven't seen before.
So I'm going to read off a list. Charlie McAvoy, Eric Lindholm, Middlestat, Thomas Nosek, Gadjevich, Matthew Tkachuk, Barkov, Victor Hedman, Cicerelli, Patrick Laine, Doc, Zucker, Norris, Chris Tanev, Austin Matthews.
We only have 30 minutes here.
I know.
It gives me a whole 30-minute list.
I just gave you a list of mind-numbing names, and all of those were just in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah.
That is one division.
I haven't seen this before. This is crazy.
I do think it has to come from the Olympic schedule, right? Because we are playing so condensed games so close to each other, where the last time the players have been off to the Olympics was 2012, 2010. Doing the math, it'd be 2012, right? They haven't played on an Olympic schedule in over a decade. No one is used to it. No one is used to this condensed amount of games. It's got to be it. It's got to be, right? Like, because there's
that
no
or
other...
everybody's getting soft.
You
know. They're just sitting out because they can. No, but you're right. I think that, we've seen a lot of back-to-back games, a lot of games at weird times also, like early morning games, early starts, back-to-back early starts. So yeah, I think there's definitely something to that.
And do you think they're pushing them? It's like some of these guys are coming off of like injuries from last year, surgeries, and longer, LTIR. So,
sure, but
we're still not sure about Rempe, right? Like, he just like had a fight and then disappeared, so.
Yeah, half those guys I listed was the cause of Rempe, so.
It's your fault. Just blame him for everything. So, yeah, these are, and then this last week alone, with these, and McAvoy, getting, hit in the face. Now they're talking surgery for him, and of course, we did have Sullivan out for a day, which for personal reasons, but expected, that it was because of that he took a time off to check on him. So he's looking like, and I think it's surgery on his eye. So I mean that was kind of crazy. So I don't know how many of these injuries are people that are expected to be playing in the Olympics. True to so something to definitely keep an eye on. With that, I kind of agree. They are posting people's schedules. Is it the Devils? I think that have played 9 games in 11 days, like something crazy. Mm-hmm. So that we'll keep an eye on like the pressure that puts on the teams for that. So and your guy came back. Even Kopitar was out for a bit. You have a couple.
But then Doughty got injured.
Yeah, it's one after the other.
Yeah, Doughty got injured a couple games ago, and now he's out, 3 weeks. So, hooray!
I always feel like the Kings are like the West Coast version of the Rangers at times.
They definitely are this year. Yeah.
Well, they were last year too. Yeah. We had a good road, record, and we had a crappy home record. You guys were following the same thing. So
at least you guys are near the top of the division, right?
Well, what division?
The Kings are in 3rd in the Pacific, and the Rangers are in.
Well, apparently, that's because more people are injured on the West Coast. So
in the
maybe
Metropolitan.
that's it. So a lot of things. Good points to note and everything.
And it's also quick note, even though the season is being expanded next year from 82 to 84 games, the season is still going to be a week long. The season is still going to be a week longer than it is now with an Olympic break. So we're going to see, a lesser condensed schedule than it already is. 84 games in 7 months is still too many, maybe a little bit, not in terms of spectators, but in terms of being physical human beings. So it's going to be a little better next year.
Well, it's interesting because I think that there's talk about that. If we're seeing injuries now with the pressure of, let's say, the Olympics, as a reason, what's going to be happening with, adding in the pressure of additional games, to play, to get to where they want to get to. So it'll be an interesting thing to see how, are these guys, when they come back, are they, are they going to stay healthy? Are we going to continuously see these injuries now? Something to watch, something we'll continue to talk about as the season goes on for stuff. So we're a quarter of the way into the season, by the way. The Rangers are sitting like at the halfway point. Realistically, we're not like, from the Rangers' point of view, we're not that far from a first place. We're like, it's a handful of points. It's crazy how a handful of points is separating everybody. Because either everyone's playing like crap with the injuries, whatever. It's a little bit fluky, I guess.
Yeah, I would say the whole Eastern Conference is it's like everybody's not too far away from each other.
I mean, everyone besides Colorado is playing bad,
and the Ducks.
I mean, the Ducks have slowed down a bit, but yeah, they've been the surprise of the season so far.
Yeah.
The difference in points in the Eastern Conference, the lowest team right now is the Sabres with 18 points. The highest two teams have 27. So it isn't that big a range, at least not right now.
Yeah. So just a completely odd season, like to start off with, I know Liz is always talking about, we should be at a certain point by Thanksgiving, but none of it is kind of making sense with, with what's happening. And again, these crazy injuries that are happening. I can't wait to see what happens. Like it seems like if these guys are home longer than a day or two, they're kind of dangerous. If they're not having a kid, then they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing and they need to stop. So, we've seen Kreider with hand, foot, and mouth disease. We've seen these this burn injury where we have all these crazy things we're hearing this season, which, I haven't heard of before, but it's making it entertaining so far.
The NHL is officially back, and so are our completely confident, definitely not questionable picks. And for all of it, we're rolling with DraftKings because if we're putting money on the line, we're doing it with the best. And this season, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, brings you all the speed, skill, and nonstop action you love. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NHL right to your fingertips. From player props to the thrill of live in-gaming betting, and every drop of the puck is your shot to win big. So new customers, hey, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get paid out $300 in bonus bets instantly.
Light the lamp all season long with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved.
Every day I'm seeing a lot of milestones being hit. I think, and that overshadows, I think, some of the, the other teams in how bad they're doing, like the 1,000th game and 800th point, so again, today, Ovechkin now has tied Gordie Howe's record and is just continuing to move on. How many records do you think he's going to break before he retires? One more and then he's gone?
I know. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks all of them. At this point, I feel like I'm numb to them, in a good way, right? Because it feels like every month he's breaking something.
It's true that because that's what I'm seeing. I see these milestones, and they're not. Again, a lot of these teams are underperforming, So, but at the same time, we saw this last year. We saw the team playing well. We saw them breaking records. There's a team record. There's their own records, but they weren't. They weren't getting where we wanted to see them be when they're personally excelling, and so that adds a little bit of confusion to to when you're seeing all this. News, you're like when you see them breaking their 1,000th point and everything, but they're still losing. It's frustrating as a fan. So, so let's talk about this. We can talk about the Ranger game last night. Vegas.
Do we have to?
There was a lot of shaming, apparently. I'm assuming, because when we were there, that was our favorite thing. It still is. So I don't know if you had a chance to kind of catch up on any of that game since you were there. And there were a lot of people that went and traveled out there. I did get a lot of texts last night, but it was a Tuesday night and weird road trips. I think Utah coming into play is kind of changing up these these West Coast trips, not just for the Rangers, but for the East Coast teams. Because typically in the past, it's been Vegas, Kings, and Ducks, which is great. We usually take the time and we kind of do all three of those. I think this year, Liz, we were talking about going up to San Jose and trying to, kind of hit that when they're out here. So so they just started the road trip in Vegas. They lost 3-2 last night. But it was also a spectator sport. So when they just watched the Knights just score goals, so.
Yeah, that was a weird game. And I haven't been following Vegas too closely. Maybe Matt can comment on the Golden Knights and where they've been at this season. But I don't know. The Rangers just seemed like they normally do, where they play the last 4 minutes of the game. Like the bus got caught in traffic trying to get there. They woke up at the end, but it was too little too late.
The Knights haven't really been able to string together a full 60. And so you can kind of see that. You can kind of see that on the goal chart. They kind of let their foot off the gas at certain points in the game, and kind of let the Rangers come back into it, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, also just from personal experience, watching the Kings and Golden Knights game, it was the third game into the season. It was the worst game I've ever watched them two play.
Slow or what?
Half of it was it was early in the season, and the other half of it was everyone was still trying to figure out how to remember how to play hockey. So there were the Kings scored multiple goals, and then the Knights caught up to them and then scored multiple goals above that, and the Kings caught up to that. It felt like watching a street hockey game. It's just that stuff out of the Knights where they have this rock solid foundation that we all want to fail or crumble every other year, and it doesn't, because it won't deep down inside, and it caused the Knights to win tonight or last night.
Yeah, this week has been the games have been great. It's funny, you were talking about we were driving on Saturday during the first period of the game, and the guys are talking on the radio, so we listened to on the radio, and they Liz is driving, and they were just having a conversation, but you can hear the game in the background. I'm like, but is the game not happening right now? Because they're supposed to be doing the play-by-plays, and she's like, there must not be anything happening. And sure enough, they went on for a minute or so just chatting about something while the game was going on.
What I've noticed that with the last couple of Ranger games, they've been boring. Like they've lost and they've been boring games, because it's a bunch of guys will chase the puck, nothing will happen. Mika gets a breakaway, and of course he's not going to score. There was one kind of cool shot in yesterday's game. Panarin shot it, and then I think it went off. It was either Kulisek, I can't remember who wound up getting the goal, but at least Panarin took a shot. So that was exciting. That was tremendously exciting. But for the most part, for the most part, nothing is happening in these games.
Well, and then we had the Red Wings game where the calls were absolutely
the calls have been
so
brutal.
It's interesting to see how they come off of these games, and then, we score, but we're offside, these kind of things just upset the momentum for things, and the bad ref calls, so that was the game that Sullivan wasn't there. I haven't really seen him challenging things. There's been things that are questionable, but he hasn't challenged anything, where every other coach challenges everything that we see, again, especially against us. So the Red Wings game was terrible. The refs, just get, they weren't even in penalties, and we ended up, losing, on that, because the team was capitalizing on scoring on that and last night. So we'll see. Again, we still have the best road record. We're on the road now. As far as, them. So what's happening, just give a quick, what's happening on the West Coast, Matt, with, we did go to the Ducks game. We have been following the Ducks because they're sometimes more exciting than the Rangers. So it gives us something else to kind of, look forward to. That Avalanche Ducks game was really good. The Avalanche, to your point, what you just said, are playing extremely well.
it right now in this moment in time, it feels like it's the Avalanche's world, and we're all just living in it. Like they are the only good team in the NHL right now. It feels like they're just stringing together wins.
They're fun to watch. It's fun to watch them set up. They're the way they set up and defend. They're fast. They're taking all the shots. It reminds like a couple of years ago. I think they had so many games that they were shooting 30, 40 shots a game. I mean, they were just out there just being fast and shooting. And then guess what? I think they won. So it's good to see them with a start. And that, Avalanche were in first place, Ducks were in second. That was a great game to watch, actually. So it's been fun to kind of watch some of these other games and stuff. So
I'd want to make a point real quick and I'll move on. If Colorado keeps up this same point percentage, they'd be the 5th greatest team of all time. So it's just
interesting to watch.
It's throwing up your hands, be like, all right, what can you do? Especially now.
And then you have Kopitar kind of doing his farewell tour, and you kind of forget when they're retiring that when they do play these, the East or the West Coast, the other side where they're only really going to that place one time, how emotional it is. And I think, we saw what he was in Toronto, right? Was it Toronto where his family surprised him? Because it was like the last time he was going to be playing in the arena and stuff. So so that's kind of it's kind of emotional, and he's having a good ride, with his final year for the Kings. So
Kopitar is the greatest Los Angeles King of all time, and like I'm putting him over Gretzky and Dion. Like there's no other player. I think I would. I don't like getting player jerseys because I'm more of a team over player type person. If there's one player I'd get, it's Kopitar because of how much he means not only to us but to the city.
With the icon, I'm the same way. I want to get a Centennial jersey. I just don't know what on it. I can't decide. I might have to go back a few years, like Messier, or something. So I'm still deciding on that. So we're gonna tie this up, but we cannot go without giving props to the PWHL, which this new season starts tomorrow with 2 new teams, and I'm seeing trades going on today. There's still controversy on a rink, in Canada. So what are you looking forward to this season? Because Matt's a huge fan of the PWHL. If you're not watching the PWHL, turn on YouTube, turn on a game, watch one of them. It's really exciting. It's really fun. I was just talking to some coworkers who were like, "Oh, I like hockey, but I have daughters." I'm like, "There's a PWHL team," but also, good 40%, of the crowd, are women at games. I mean, women, like they like hockey too. For all, well, it's usually more reasons than the guys like it. But I had to kind of chat with her for a little bit, but also kind of relay that it's free to watch. They're really exciting, and they're the smart ones. They play with the full cages. Remember when we were talking about that before, last year, Liz, with someone was like, why do they wear cages? Aren't they professionals? And Sarah Nurse had an interview where she's like, yeah, well, we're cute. and we don't have that insurance that you guys have, so they're wearing them, and look what's happening to these guys, so I'm wondering if we'll see kind of more cages and things come like that, because those protectors aren't doing any good for them this season. So what are your expectations for this new season with the new two teams coming on?
I was really excited because women's hockey has been very contained into the Northeast, and like with college especially, like the team west, the team that is more west than any other team is in St. Louis, and so like it's I'm just so glad that women's hockey has grown to such a level that it gets to grow out of that Northeastern bubble. Vancouver and Seattle are so exciting to watch. You got Sarah Nurse on Vancouver, Hillary Knight on Seattle, two of the best national rivalries on a professional stage. I'm excited.
Trades from last year, so these are, so with the two expansion teams, they picked up a lot of, good players, and then some with their contracts up kind of decided to go different. So there was a lot of wheeling and dealing. I think this is a whole new year. It's their third year. But with the two new expansion teams, it's like their first, so because with 6 teams, you only have so much you can do. With 4, they've changed some rules. Like, did they take away the challenge rule, the coaches challenge? What did they take away?
They took away the coaches challenge, but then they replaced it with a soccer fans know this as a VSR official. They're calling it a CSR official. It's a 5th official that'll be in Toronto watching the cameras, so that they can initiate a review for the players whenever they want. And I think this is a pretty lateral move overall, because you can challenge anything you want, and pretty much I don't think anything that will be missed will still be reviewed anyway, similar to a coach's challenge. But yeah.
So, we're definitely looking for it. NHL players are kind of propping them up. We're seeing that popping up on social media. The season starts tomorrow, so we'll look forward to that. And then just one little final note, especially since we have Matt on. Matt goes to UNLV. The Rebels are doing amazing. Still, have they lost a game at all?
They have. They have had 8 starters injured and had to field the game against the second best team in the nation. With 3/4 of a roster.
You got 4 weeks to jump in as a backup. Can't they throw you in?
Yeah, I warmed the bench pretty well.
I know Matt's graduating in 4 weeks from UNLV, so we're very proud of him, and and it's very exciting. It's coming up very quickly, and and again, this is a team that he's been supporting, but honestly, on the college level, the UNLV team has done exceptionally well. So, again, this is just a taste. We want to kind of bring you more, more college hockey stuff and more PWHL things, and especially as the season's starting. So definitely, we'll look out for that. And then hopefully, we'll continue to kind of praise our Rangers on the road. So as long as they're not wearing those Centennial jerseys, we're good, I think. They look
wear
good.
More. You wear more. You look good. Wear more. If you're gonna lose anyway, just wear those. Like,
we'll see. So I think with that, it's a good little roundup. Again, there's more to talk. So we'll continue this conversation next week and we'll see who's injured and who's not. Maybe we'll have a little bingo game.
Definitely. Thanks everybody for listening, and please give us a like. Please subscribe for more information about the New York Rangers, the NHL, the PWHL, and more just fun hockey conversations. Bye everybody.
Bye-bye.